Once again, education is on the American agenda. Our focus, as it was last night, is on a practice so widespread that most parents and educators don't give it a second thought. We're referring to ability grouping, putting kids who seem to have the same learning abilities together. The trouble is that ability grouping doesn't work. In fact, it has the potential to affect a child's total educational development and develop a scar which may last into adulthood. Our agenda report is by ABC's Bill Blakemore.
Is it possible that whether you become a successful manager or a prison inmate, a research scientist or an unskilled laborer, a professional artist or one of the chronically unemployed, is it possible that that might be determined partly by an educational sorting process which begins when you're 6 years old? Yes, quite possible. New studies have found that what is called ability grouping or tracking is common in most American schools. 2/3 of America's elementary and middle schools and more than 90% of high schools use some form of tracking or ability grouping. In Boston's Haley Elementary School, for example, children are sorted into fast and slow classes from the first grade on up. Parents here, like most in America, accept this.
If you mix the groups totally, you're going to lose not only the bright child or the slow child, you're going to lose both.
So they're going to teach to the middle, and so you are going to lose both ends.
The theory is that ability grouping keeps fast kids from being held back by slow kids and keeps slow kids from becoming disheartened when they try to keep up.
We're putting them there because we feel it would be of a better benefit to them, that in the end they will achieve more.
The theory sounds logical, but researchers have found it doesn't really work that way, despite what many teachers believe.
Within their year with the kids, they might see results, but they really don't see the deficits that accumulate over time. They don't see that test scores drop from year to year. The bottom tracks get bigger and bigger and bigger throughout the secondary years.
And the high tracks get smaller. Children at every level of ability will tend to achieve less in a tracked system.
They usually have them categorized like A, B, C, D, and you felt lesser in the groups, and you seem to only make friends in that one group.
And I felt dumb, and I felt like they didn't expect a lot, so why do a lot?
Ability grouping is self-perpetuating for several reasons. The most obvious, it demolishes self-esteem.
If you're told that you're just average, or worse, that you're slow, you're likely not to expect yourself to be anything but that.
Many school districts say students are free to move up from low ability groups, but the new studies show that almost never happens. It's catch-22. If students haven't had the right preparation for advanced classes, they can't move out of their lower ability classes, which aren't giving them the right preparation for advanced classes.
The connection was how the teachers felt about us. The teachers knew that we were in these lesser groups, and so they weren't really trying like they would with a student who didn't understand something.
And that's not the only way students get shortchanged. In school after school, surveys have found kids grouped in lower levels usually get less qualified teachers, less access to learning resources, and less stimulating curriculum.
And so you give them the worst materials, the worst teachers, and you stick them in the worst classroom, you try to ignore them, and then you call them bad, and you wonder why they drop out.
But can school systems challenge every student without the damaging effects of ability grouping, without predetermining their chances in life? The Northfield, Massachusetts school system replaced its ability grouping 5 years ago with a system which includes kids of different abilities teaching each other.
The college attendance has improved and kids' aspirations are way up. We don't have people who are rejected because of what level they are.
One school district in California is developing another alternative to grouping: individual education plans for every student. These schools are proving what some teachers have always known, that children who elsewhere would be put in low ability groups perform at high levels given the right kind of teaching. Teaching which produces as many ability groups as there are children and does not decide for them what they'll be able to learn. Bill Blakemore, ABC News, San Diego.